Hello everyone. So for tonight, this is not going to be one of my regular videos, but I will still make it speaking softly, ASMR style. Rather, I've been asked repeatedly how I make videos from picking a topic to uploading it, and that's what I'm going to show you. But first, I would like to really thank you very much for your warm reception since I came back about 3 months ago. It's been a pleasure to make these new topics and interact with you and take your feedback in to try and improve what I do. So thank you very much for that. So this is the kind of set I make to shoot some of the visuals. And every time I just grab items around the house to arrange this little setting. I'm going to show you what it looks like from afar. So, as you know, if you've been watching my recent videos, I go by very strict rules about these settings. Just a few objects that I try to organize aesthetically, if possible, on a tablecloth. To be honest, this simplicity is partly due to my technical limitations, but there is also something intentional here. In a sense, I embrace these limitations because I want it to look familiar to you. The set may change each time, but you know what it's about, and I think this sense of familiarity helps focus your attention. Another thing too is that repetition is something pleasant in storytelling. I don't know if you remember that, but when we were kids, we loved hearing the same story over and over again, or the same narrative structure with very small variations. And something of it stays when we become adults. It is comforting to be taken by the hand and watch or listen to something new, but showed or told in a way that is already familiar. So that's what I think it's a good approach for ASMR or relaxation videos. And finally, the last reason why I embrace all these limitations is that I think constraints are key to creativity. A set of rules invites you to play with the limits and explore what you can turn your material into. I think this applies to many art forms. You can be working with a music instrument, with words, or with raw materials like stone, wood, paint. The moment you become creative is when you have tamed this material, you have developed your technique, and you apply it, and you start exploring what you can do with it. But when I shoot using this kind of set, I am already well advanced in the process of making a new video. And it all started a few days before, when I just picked a topic, which is not very complicated. I have a long list of topics I have not used yet. What all these subjects have in common is that at some point in the past 10 or 20 years, I was interested in them, and I already have an idea about what I could say. I have already seen documentaries or traveled to them if it's a destination, read books or related pages on Wikipedia. So they're never entirely new to me, but I may have a very superficial knowledge about them. So that's a good occasion for me to scratch the surface and learn much more. When I have chosen a topic, I will typically spend 2 or 3 days reading about it. And honestly, it doesn't feel like work at all. I just use these moments during the day that get lost otherwise, like when you are in the subway or queuing for something or taking a break. And during these moments, I read and accumulate information. so that after 3 days I generally have an idea about what to say, and I start thinking about how to organize it. So I just take a sheet of paper and I build like the skeleton of a script for the video. What guides me when I do this is the need to put myself in the shoes of the audience. I try to figure out what someone who is not familiar with the subject might like to learn or discover, and how I can try to bring it in a way that feels natural and logical, and also as easy as possible to follow. My ambition since I started making these videos has always been to present things in a way that makes them accessible to as many people as possible. And this means no complicated vocabulary or any expression or reference that could exclude someone from the conversation. Because this is something I have become aware of with the years. The world of knowledge or culture in general, and it can be whatever the field, science, history, different art forms, architecture, you name it, they can bring people closer together into a community of interest. But these little communities that appear around fields of culture and knowledge can also exclude all the outsiders, because they generate their own codes, their own vocabulary, their own distinction mechanisms. There is a concept in sociology called symbolic violence, and I think it applies well to the world of culture. So what is symbolic violence? It is the way certain places or social circles can make you feel that you don't belong to them and that you are rejected. I think anyone who grew up in a relatively poor environment, could not study as much as they wished, or live on a limited budget, or don't have the right demeanor or skin color in a particular environment, will immediately understand what symbolic violence is, because they have experienced it many times. It is when you are in a place where you're not going to be assaulted physically, and you have the right to be where you are, but everything tells you that you shouldn't be here. You don't have the right appearance, you don't know enough, you don't have the means or the codes. This is symbolic violence based on social class, and it can happen to almost anyone when you are out of your usual circle. It makes you feel excluded, and in some cases it can attack your sense of self-worth. Unfortunately, voluntarily or not, the academic world and the world of culture generate a lot of symbolic violence. It can be through patronizing, or through all these codes that come with them and that exclude the outsiders. And it's a shame, because this knowledge or these works of art do not belong to anyone in particular. So we have to sift through these artificial barriers. And I'm not going to say I make these videos for public service. I don't. I make them because they're fun to make, and there's something in there for me. But my biggest satisfaction with this channel is when someone tells me that the videos make them feel good or awaken an interest in any particular field. Because I know that learning is not only easy, it can be fun and deeply satisfying. So I feel useful when I can communicate that. But I told you I didn't do all this out of pure altruism. First, I do it because it's fun for me to make these little mental gymnastics every week on a different topic. I take in information, I synthesize it, and I present it to you. And it also gives me a little sense of accomplishment. Actually, I started searching for things online a long time ago when I was in my early 20s. That's almost 20 years ago. And by this I mean that when I had a question about something, I got used to never let it unanswered. I went online and looked for the answer. And this is maybe the biggest opportunity internet gave me, and I feel like I would be a really different person without it. I remember when I was a teenager in the 1990s, of course there were encyclopedias and the information was always available somewhere, but it was so much harder and slower to access. So as soon as it became possible to get easy answers about everything around me, from how does the microwave oven work to what is this monument about or who is this person, I searched for this online. And I've been doing this for a very long time, so I feel like I have accumulated a lot of information. And it is satisfying for me to create something with it. It gives me a little sense of accomplishment. Every time I upload a new video, I feel like it is a little segment of my memory that I have packaged and stored. And apart from that, it's also fun to develop a channel on YouTube, to try to attract viewers, to make it grow, to try to step up my game in terms of presentations of things, audio quality, visuals. Honestly, sometimes when I revisit my first videos, I cringe a little bit at what I did back then, but I also realize that I've been making progress, and that's a pleasant feeling. I am also very happy I could create a small community of subscribers who are really into these videos I make. I think there are a few hundreds of you, maybe a few thousands, and you're probably one of them if you're listening to this right now, who are really into these videos and will listen to almost everything I put out and comment. You are really the people who make this channel live and go on, so by all means please continue, because this is what gives me motivation and even responsibility when I'm in the middle of recording or editing, knowing that this work will be scrutinized and hopefully appreciated by people who are into it. And speaking about this, by the way, a very big thank you to all of you who support me via PayPal or Patreon. This is really much appreciated, and on top of everything I said before, it is also nice to make a bit of money with this channel. You know, I keep advertising limited on the videos. There are no video ads, only clickable banners, but they appear only on computers, not on mobile devices. And this will not change, because I find it really unpleasant to have a loud video ad at the beginning of a video. It's even worse when it's ASMR. But still, I'm making a bit of money, mainly outside YouTube. Apart from Patreon and PayPal, I have done work and sold scripts and also licensed audio tracks to apps like Calm and Slumber. So I will keep advertising to a minimum, but if you wish to contribute, please do it. I keep all these financial aspects out of my videos because that's not what you come for, and I don't want to turn it into a commercial operation or give you the impression that you're buying something. But on my last videos I spent easily 15 to 20 hours each. It's much more than before, because they are twice longer now, and I try to edit them better, which is very time consuming. So if I am to make 3 or 4 videos every month, it feels good to have a financial counterpart to it. I'm also perfectly aware that we all have very different resources and we work with different budgets. So I'll make sure nobody gets less content for not willing or not being able to participate financially. I won't take videos private or sign license agreements that take old videos out of YouTube. Sorry, that was a long digression. So back to how I make videos. This is what a script looks like. It's not really a script actually, just a series of key points that organize everything I'm going to tell, and a few words of vocabulary I will need too. And then I plug the microphone and I start rambling, following this structure on the paper. Generally, I can talk about 15 to 20 minutes with a page like this. I don't really write a script, at least not every word. It's not that I'm lazy, even though I am probably. It's mainly because it would take a long time and it would sound like I'm reading, which is the opposite to what I want. I would like each video to sound like it's a live lecture or a conversation. And because there is no written script, it can take me several hours to record the audio. Because without a script, I'm going to stumble on a few things, or start making sentences that go nowhere, or I won't find the word I need. It is the little inconvenience of doing it in another language. Or my dogs start making noise while I'm recording. So there's a lot I need to cut, but the audio is the one part I cannot fail. So I take the time needed until it sounds right. Once I'm done with the audio, I can prepare the visuals. And as you know, I have started to make these sets in every video. And I prepare them just by grabbing things around the house. This is why you probably noticed that the same props keep reappearing. I have started buying some things. It's not very expensive. I did it in the recent videos about tea and the underwater journey too. Once I have the video plus pictures that I get from Wikipedia, most of the time it's Wikipedia because they have to be free of rights for that kind of use, can begin my least favorite part, which is editing the video. It is the only part that really feels like work, because I'm not really very skilled at this. So it's always very slow, several hours, to make the audio and the visual parts match. It is the only part that can be a bit frustrating, I have to say, because I never really manage to live up to the vision I have. I would like smoother transitions. I would also like to be able to include animations, but generally it is impossible with YouTube because of the rights. There are sites with short video clips, generally they are CGI, and they are free of rights, so theoretically you can use them in any YouTube video. But because of Content ID on YouTube, in reality you cannot use them. Content ID is the system that examines every video uploaded to YouTube, and it recognizes if the same content, be it audio or visual, has already been uploaded by a channel that participates in this program. So everything I upload is original, except the Wikipedia pictures, but I have no problem with Content ID in general. But if I include these animations in my videos, even though they are free of rights, there's always a channel that has already used them, and that is a member of the Content ID program, so that my video gets blocked. And there is a system to appeal this, which in theory should work, but it can take up to a month, so basically this is enough to make me drop the matter. The one time when it got really frustrating was when I made this space cruise video about 2 months ago. The original video I made looked very different from what you saw, and in my opinion, much better. I had used plenty of these animated CGI clips with space views of every single planet of the solar system. And it's the only time I ever thought I had made something that could be almost worthy of being on television. It really looked good. But the same free CGI animations had already been used by multiple other channels that are members of Content ID. So the video received like 10 different strikes that blocked it, and I had to take it down and remake the entire editing in a much cheaper way, and this is the version you've seen. So that was a bit frustrating, but it's okay. I think the audio and the stories remain more important. So this is about what I wanted to tell you. I'm really glad I started making videos again 3 months ago. It's been a lot of work, but I'm happy with how it paid off, and I have plenty more ideas for future videos. I hope you will be as excited as I am to discover them. My next video is probably going to be about King Arthur and all the mythology around. I'm working on it right now, and then I will have a quite ambitious one, because it's going to be long, about the history of ancient Rome. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching or listening, and I'll be back soon with more stories. In the meantime, try to stay as relaxed as possible and curious and kind to others around you, because all of these things will make you happier. Thank you very much, and au revoir.